right, so Monday night, and I have just pulled the tranny out of the Z. Just here by myself tonight. Did the whole deal with my Harbor Freight tool set and a floor jack and some jack stands. Went pretty good. There it is right there, that little bastard. So I think I'm gonna kind of open it up a little bit. I've already dropped the pan out of it. I'm gonna pull the valve body off of it, and I'm gonna pull the torque converter off of it, and we're gonna see how much crap is in those two, because those are the two parts that I'm gonna need, that I planned on swapping over. Fingers crossed the torque converter is okay. The torque converter might have been what failed for all I know. I don't think so though. I don't think the torque converter could cause things to bind up the way it did. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some damaged hard parts in the middle of it, but anyway, fingers crossed the torque converter is okay. And the car's up on jack stands, and there's my little setup. Just brought it down on the floor jack, and then that board just kind of used it as a slide to slide it down to the concrete. Actually went pretty well. Not something I want to do by myself next time, but you know, we're eager to get this show on the road, and you know, Monday night, I'm the only one who's off tomorrow at the shop, so we're getting her done. All right, so I cleaned this little bin out real good and drained the torque converter into it, and it's not looking good. So you can see how sparkly and glittery everything is. A lot of metal shavings in there. Whole transmission fluid is not supposed to be that glittery. I wanted to tear this thing open and see what was going on, but just kind of wanted to get down to the bottom of it, make sure that I could find some kind of point of failure. So I did. So the oil pump looks okay. The front clutch packs don't really seem phased at all. Of course, there's just glitter everywhere, and quite a bit of shavings just everywhere. So when I got to whatever the hell this piece is, I'm not gonna act like I know what all these pieces are called. Damn, I'm bleeding like everything's so sharp in here. So what I ended up finding is this first planetary gear set that you run into whenever you're tearing it apart. And you can see right here, there's some discoloration of the metal. You can see right here, it looks like that got molten. So this gear right here, bearings are toast. Look at this. Just totally effed. And then it's like that on all of them. This one too. This one barely turns. And then this one, same. Just all the needle bearings just failed and came out of it. Like all the little needles all around there. And so just kind of set that back like that. The sun gear looks okay. It's a little chewed up, but not real bad. Really, the planetary gear set seems to be the point of failure. And then this is where that rides. And if you look on the inside of here, it's just ground up bad. And then this little sun shell inside of it is just gnarled up too. So that's where all our metal came from. I'm gonna get another one tomorrow. This tranny definitely had over 200,000 miles on it. I think it had like 230,000 miles, presumably. Who knows if it was replaced before. But we've been treating it rough for a few years now, and it's just taking the beatings, just taking a licking and keep on kicking. So I'm not decided on the torque converter yet. I might just try to flush it out real good and just put it back on. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So I think we're gonna just flush out the torque converter. I gotta go through the valve body and clean it out real good. And I'm just gonna open up the new transmission enough to swap out the valve bodies, put on the converter. Should be a pretty straightforward repair. I think we're gonna be back in action in no time. All right, so I just am heading back from Burleson now, and we got a transmission and a wheel to match that third turbo wheel that we have. I've always wanted to find a fourth. We've always been missing it. So we should have the car back together tonight. I'm not sure if I'll have it full of fluid and driving or not. Hopefully we get it running and driving tonight, and then I can work on getting some street tires put on those wheels, and should have it driving by the end of the week. No problem. I mean, I don't see any reason why it's not going to be ready to race, but I also want to do a lot more street tuning and get the boost situation figured out. I'm so sick of making videos talking about having the wrong boost, so we're going to put an end to that. All right, so today I went, picked up another transmission. It's the exact same thing that we had that we have in the car now. It came with a torque converter. We'll keep it just in case we break ours and need to get a different one reinstalled or whatever. But I also got another wheel, so we'll be able to run 2 street tires. Hey, this is the valve body out of the old tranny. I wanted to reuse it because I have modified the separator plate and it's got a different pressure spring in it. So I did want to just get it nice and clean because we are going to be using it. The other thing we're going to be reusing is our torque converter. I'm going to do the best I can to get everything out of that thing. I know it's going to be pretty hard to do well, but this is the old transmission. It's I just put it back together. Maybe in the future I can use some parts out of it if need arises. I don't really know, how long these transmissions are going to be lasting us with the current power level or when we're making even more. So we're going to keep that around for spare parts. It's just me tonight, so I'm going to try to see what I can get done. It's only Tuesday night, so we'll just see what we can figure out. It's just me. We got our new transmission. Inside of the tranny looks pretty good. Everything was very nice and pink and clean, and there was no shavings of any kind. So I think we got a winner with the transmission. We're going to find out. But I did bring a bunch of fluid home. I brought home the tools I need, and we got everything here ready to go. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, right now it is 9:18, and I bet this thing's running and going in and out of gear by 10:30. So we'll see how it goes. All right, got it finished up right at 11 o'clock. Got it done, so a little over an hour and a half. It just went through all the gears. It went into reverse, went into drive, wheels turned, even put into drive and revved it up a little bit to make sure it would get up on the converter. Everything feels good. Looking around underneath it, no leaks. Everything's staying nice and dry. And so it looks like everything went good. Saturday night, I'm gonna get with the guys, or at least Matt, I think, and just work on just tuning it around town. I did get my tires and the other turbo wheel from the storage unit, so maybe if I can sneak out of work tomorrow, I can go get those tires mounted, the street tires mounted up on, and then we can do all our street tuning on street tires, because we got license plates, insurance. It's a street legal car now.
Driving that,
Just cracking up.
Would have been fire.
Yeah, I've been sitting in a junkyard for a minute. We were gonna just have Matt go get these tires mounted at the tire shop, but I didn't want to interrupt his perfect score of 0 contribution this week. So we're gonna try to do it ourselves. Oh God, now the rim's just stuck inside the tire. Somebody send help. Very important to make sure you're cutting towards your groin when you do this. So when we got the Z, it had 3 of these wheels on it, and one of them was the old Iron Cross, the super common one that nobody really likes, 14-inch. So I searched around for a 4th one of those wheels for a good time. I was all over the internet. I could not find one anywhere local. And so I gave up and I went and got another Iron Cross wheel to match that front one. So we've been running 2 of those in the front for the duration. But when I went to get that transmission, the guy actually had this wheel too. So I went ahead and picked it up, and I'd like to have like a full set of matching wheels on the car, but the main motivation for me to pick that up was I had 2 street tires already in that size, and they're the ones that we used to have on the back of the car before we went to our slicks. Just recently, I went through all the paperwork process, got the title transferred for the Z. So got the title transferred and got it insured, inspected, and I got some plates for it. Of course, the car passed inspection with flying colors. It's a legitimate street car. But the important thing here is this is going to enable us to be able to do a lot of testing and stuff on the street without getting a handful of tickets for all the laws we're breaking, first of all. But also, we can do it on street tires instead of just destroying our slicks. Slicks are expensive. These street tires are cheap. I can go out and roast these things off and everything will be fine. But they're going to be way better for the street. They're going to give better handling and stuff for the street setting. And yeah, so we'll be able to do a lot more testing on the car without having to go to the track and make terrible passes over and over again when we're trying to work out bugs. So one of the things I'm going to work on now is just tidying up some of the injector wiring. It looks kind of sloppy. Just messy wires. Everything works. Everything's fine. Everything's just fine. But I got this shiny gold intake, and then I got this mess of wire. It looks like a BMW engine bay under here. So we're going to wrap that all up and make it look a little more tidy. I went for a good enough job on that, and I think I nailed it. I just got off work. Matt's on his way over here, and we're going to do some street driving today. I still have not driven it since I put the new tranny in, so we have to see how that's going. It went into gear. I could tell it was engaging and stuff, but it was too late for me to actually put it on the street. So in the meantime, I went ahead and changed the oil. I had cleaned up the engine bay just a tiny bit and put the street tires on it and the plates and everything. So we are going to be driving legal beagle. Turn signals don't work, horn doesn't work, no wiper blades, high beams are on at all times. Those are the things we got going against us tonight. Also, the exhaust is a little on the loud side. But I got insurance, it's registered. I think we're fine. Worst case scenario, I get a ticket for not signaling when I turn. Right now, I'm going to change up our boost control settings a little bit. And I want to take a minute to just kind of explain why this is so hard, why I'm struggling so much with this. I'm not going to bore everyone with a bunch of technical stuff. Also, I don't really fully understand all the technical stuff. So long and short of it is you have 3 different parameters that have to be right for boost control, or really for any kind of, anytime the computer has to make a decision with something, you have 3 parameters. They're called PIDs, or proportional gain, integral gain, derivative gain. And these 3 things have to be set to something very specific, and it has a lot of dependencies. It depends on how quickly the system is changing. The computer uses PID to make decisions. Just a quick overview, the P stands for proportional gain, and basically that's how aggressively the computer is going to react to an error or an indiscrepancy. The I is integral gain, and that is the number of times the computer looks to make changes over time. And then the last one, derivative gain, basically what that is the computer preparing or anticipating change, really, is probably the best way to describe it. So the higher the P is, the faster our actual boost is going to ramp up towards the desired. If it's too aggressive, it has a tendency to overshoot. Integral gain is going to determine how well it stays at the desired boost throughout the gear, and the D is going to be how far it overshoots the target. So this is just a balancing act, but it's my understanding you need to set the P first with the others really low or on 0 maybe. So I'm going to lower the I and the D all the way to 0, and I'm going to put my proportional gain on about 50% because at 100% we were overshooting big time. So I'm going to go with a really low proportional gain. I also want to lower the target boost to more like 17, but we're going to cruise around a little bit, have some fun. All right, we're going to throw her in drive. Let's see if she'll move. It goes forward. All right, we're taking her out on the town, baby. Disease mobile again. It dropped down to about 13 there. Okay, so better. Yeah. Still not overboosted. So we got the a proportional gain
to a manageable level,
where it seems to be under control. Yeah. It still peaks up around 21 psi, and then it starts to taper down. But as low as it gets before I lift off the throttle was 16.
Not bad.
Which is the best it's been so far by far. And so all we did was
We've been
added,
dropping down to like 10.5.
we added just 2% integral gain. So we had been making much bigger adjustments than that before, but it wasn't working out. So we went to...
We're just still getting this whole PID thing figured out, you know?
So right now we're at 75% gain, which just seems to be getting the job done. We're getting into the boost. And then we just put 2% integral gain, and it helped substantially.
Tremendously, yeah.
So we're getting close. I think we're close enough to make some passes at the track and try to adjust from there, because we really just can't duplicate staging and leaving with boost. All right, so we did a little bit of street tuning tonight. Matt just took off and hit the road. What we accomplished tonight was we did manage to get the Z to get into boost and maintain it somewhat well. We got it running pretty good. We burned a lot of gas through it. The transmission did great. Everything's just really happy right now. So had a great night just kind of enjoying the car out on the town. Everywhere we went, people were looking at it. People were asking about it. It's kind of wild how much attention it got. Like, for all these people who don't even realize that this is a dig racing car, like it's a proper setup 8th mile car. A lot of people just enjoyed seeing it, and it was really cool to see. I think it's a great conversation piece it's fun to take out. So, also, I got a call from our storage unit tonight saying that the lock was missing off of our storage unit door. The people at the storage unit say that theft has been a big problem in Pilot Point, where our storage unit is. Hopefully people didn't come in and steal all the tools out of our storage unit or the trailer. I have no idea what happened up there. We're going to find out in the morning. So this morning, my buddy Mike, who lives right next to the storage unit, also owns the trailer that we towed the car with, went and checked it out, and the trailer is gone. The trailer's been stolen out of our storage unit in Pilot Point. It appears to be really the only thing taken, that and a floor jack. So now we don't have any way to tow the car. My buddy is out a trailer that I just put tires on, and I'm not comfortable having the car there. If the car would have been sitting on that trailer at the storage unit, it would have been gone too, no doubt. Even if the people stealing it probably just would have had it scrapped or something. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, thank goodness the tranny blew and the car's here at my house, because the trailer's gone. We don't have a trailer anymore. We don't have a safe storage place anymore. Mike's with the police in Pilot Point right now trying to resolve all that. I don't know where we're going to end up here. I don't know if the storage unit can be held accountable for this. You know, they have a gate with a code to get in, and we had a lock on the unit. They have cameras everywhere, but you know how these things go. They're never going to find that trailer. So I'm working with them, and we're working with the police to try to figure out what we can do. Thank God the car was here. I cannot stress that enough. Thank goodness we had that tranny issue that had me bring the car to the house. So moving forward, I got to find a new place to store the car, and it has to be able to fit a trailer, and then we got to start trailer shopping. So that's what we're dealing with now. But in any case, it's going to do it for this week. We'll see you next week.